Welcome to Spoiler Alert, where we talk about and spoil the shows we're obsessed with. This week we welcome The Good Wife's Matt Czuchry to preview Carrie's long-awaited return to Lockhart Gardner, and get an update on the production of the Gilmore Girls feature film, which should almost be done shooting now, I think. Yes. Also, two comedy icons will pre-enact a scene from this Sunday's Game of Thrones. Welcome, Mr. Czuchry.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I mean, this is my favorite website.
How did we not have him on first?
Yeah.
We tried. He's a busy guy.
I love you guys both as people, and then also what you do on the site, so that combination is my favorite site, so thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Carrie's heading back to Lockhart Gardner.
Finally.
April 22nd episode. Not the one coming up this Sunday, but the one after it. CBS already showed a scene.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor.
Well, let me ask you,
going through some big professional changes, I can say that's for sure.
Is that sort of a relief to you? I know as a fan of the show it is to me, because I feel like you haven't had a lot to do these past two seasons. Although it was fun, a fun twist that you went to work for the enemy, so to speak. I want you back at the firm.
The state's attorney storyline was supposed to be 6 episodes and end at the beginning of season 2, and it ended up being 2 seasons. I think the advantage of that storyline is we've seen Carrie kind of grow and mature, and so we kind of have this guy who's rooted in ambition and power, but now is kind of more mature and more worldly. So if he were to come back to Lockhart Gardner, it'd be interesting to see how that dynamic would shake up everything at the firm. So he's been gone from Lockhart Gardner more than he's been at Lockhart Gardner.
What would Peter's theoretical reaction be to him switching back to the other side?
The cool thing that I loved about the relationship that Chris and I developed, Peter and Carrie developed, is they kind of had this father-son and kind of equal aspect to each other. And I think that Peter understands the fact that Carrie stepped up and then he got demoted, that he wants something more. So I think that there's a piece of him that will understand if he were to leave, that there would be a reason to go. Because Carrie, he's still rooted in ambition and power, and so if he's not getting what he wants at the state's attorney's office, he's going to make a change. And I think Peter understands that, which I think is cool about that relationship. So I don't think that's the end of that relationship between Peter and Carrie either, which could be fun.
There would be a new dynamic between him and Will, for example, because he just tried to have Will disbarred a few episodes ago.
If he were to come back, I think that that's the great thing about the show, is when you at the end of the season 3, what's great for the audience is not only do you get closure on these certain storylines, but you get these new storylines that come in. So the impact of the example that you just said of Carrie having him try to get disbarred, what would that do in terms of the tension, in terms of those two characters? Would create a whole different dynamic. And then of course you always have Alicia and Peter and Carrie and how he fits into that, and Kalinda as well. So
yeah, any more Carrie Kalinda moments in these final 3 episodes?
There's one little moment, but not too much with Carrie and Kalinda, although I think that Kalinda's got a really cool episode at the final episode, some cool stuff, some new storylines that are dropped, one with Carrie and then one with Kalinda and Peter as well. And I think that's going to be a great episode for Kalinda.
We're going to pause here for a minute.
Yes.
And we're going to enter Spoiler Alert Theater. We have 2 Shakespearean-trained actors who have dropped by to pre-enact a scene from this Sunday's Game of Thrones. Are you a fan?
I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I'm excited to see it for the first time.
Well, this will be your introduction to it. Let's check it out.
Thank you.
You monster! Marcella is my only daughter. Do you really think I'll let you sell her like a common whore?
Marcella is a princess. Some would say she was born for this.
Oh, I will not let you ship her off to Dawn. I was shipped off to Robert Baratheon.
Dawn is the safest place for her.
Are you mad? The Martells loathe us.
That's why we need to seduce them. We are going to need their support in the war your son started.
She'll be a hostage.
A guest.
Oh, you won't get away with this. You think the piece of paper Father gave you keeps you safe? Ned Stark had a piece of paper too.
It's done, sis.
No.
You cannot stop it.
No!
Just how safe do you think Marcella is if the city falls? Do you want her raped? Butchered like the Targaryen children? Make no mistake, they'll mount her pretty little head on a spike right beside yours.
Get out! Get out! No!
That's Game of Thrones.
Our budget is a little higher than what HBO. We can do more things.
The stuff that you guys had in there, the dragons and the trolls. I mean, I'm surprised that TV Line has that much kind of budget.
Congratulations, you are an author now.
Thank you very
You
much.
and your brother just put out a sort of memoir of sorts, childhood memoir. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's a book I wrote with my big brother Mike. It's called Brothers on Life. And it's a collection of short stories and poetry and philosophy. And anybody at any age can pick it up and connect to it because it's about all the struggles and triumphs that we all go through in life.
What surprised you most about the experience?
For the past 10 months, doing that in The Good Wife has been incredibly daunting. So that kind of work was really surprising.
And there's a lot of great childhood photos in this book. Now, when you were going through the pictures, was there anything you were like, no, I can't have that out there?
I went to my house in Johnson City, Tennessee with my brother, and we got together and went through all our old photos. And what we were kind of looking for was a specific emotion. You can kind of see that in all the pictures, is this kind of this joy and this love of childhood, that living in the moment kind of feel that you have. And I think as adults, we get so bogged down with all the stress, with work, with everything that we have to do. It's natural. And as a kid, you're not thinking about that. All you're thinking about is your imagination and the love of the moment. So the pictures that we chose were kind of that celebration of either how much my brother and I care for each other or how much we're just enjoying the moment in those pictures.
And real quick before we go, just give us an update on production of the Gilmore Girls film. You're in the final weeks of the production, right?
We have about one more week left to shoot.
Do you still get asked about it?
People loved it, and I think that the connection that they had was so deep that with it, especially mothers and daughters together watching that. And I think that what's great about any television show that you connect to is it becomes a part of you. The characters become a part of you. The storylines become a part of you. That's why I became an actor. That's why I wrote this book, to try to connect to people. I love telling stories, and so it's always nice, and people do, people still ask me about it to this day on the street.
Do you ever check in on Lauren Graham's Parenthood now that you're not time slot rivals?
I do watch that, and I watched it even when we were time slot rivals. My friend Sam Jager is also on that show. He's fantastic on that show. It's a great show. And some of the people who did Friday Night Lights, which was a show that I was on, do that show as well. So I like that show a lot, and she's doing great work on it.
Thank you so much, Matt, for dropping by.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Appreciate
I really,
it.
really appreciate it.
So now, while the credits roll, we're going to enjoy some outtakes just for
Okay.
you right here from Spoiler Alert Theater. Let's enjoy this.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. Another troll.
Yeah, that one was expensive.
Jeez.